What we're going to do today is make some homemade no rolls since they're unavailable in my area. These are 2 ounces. None of my bait shops carry them, and to order the size and as many I need, they come out to like over $2 a piece, and that just ain't worth it. So here what I have is just molds that I made. I just took a scrap piece 2x4. I got took my router to it, drew me a pattern. And this video is just going to cover things you might need if you wanted to set up a little do-it-yourself outfit like I got going here. I just drew a couple patterns of some no rolls. This happens to be the 2 ounce, so I placed it there, traced it out, and routed it. I forget what the measurement was on the router. I just was playing around with it until I got the size that I liked. They vary. It's roughly 2 ounces. Some come out a little heavier, some, 0.1 or lighter, whatever. And then I just took my angle grinder and cut a slit right here at the top and at the bottom. So here's what you're going to need. I use an Allen wrench just because it works out perfect. I don't know what size that is, but another thing that I've used in the past, if you have them laying around, these are 1/16 welding rod for a stick welder, and I just shave all the flux off of it, and what you're left with is wire about that big, and that works too. It's a little bigger, but not much different. Then we just need a couple sets of pliers, some lead if you got it laying around, wheel weights or whatever you got, melt down all your old sinkers, a little can to cook with. I could use it bigger, but I only make them as I need them, so I don't need to, I don't need one of those big pots or whatever. And then just a torch. So I'll heat some of this stuff up, and we'll go over it once I'm about ready to pour it. Alright, so I just take some vice grips and hold it over, and I only melt as much as I need at a time. That because between it cooling and whatever, it just works out a little easier that way. So what you want to do, and something you can't forget, is whether it's your hand or your pliers or something, you gotta hold your core pin, because what's gonna happen is when the lead pours, it rises, and if you don't hold that down, it'll push it up, and then you're not gonna have an inline sinker. You're just gonna have a chunk of lead. So what I'm going to do is just hold that, and then we're going to pour it. Hold it like that just for a second. See, I messed it up. Oh, I fixed it. And then we're gonna let that cool for a minute. Set that down, kill my torch. The other thing too is make sure that you're doing this in a pretty ventilated area. I'm in the garage, but I got the garage open and I'm about 3 feet from the door, so it's definitely not healthy to breathe that stuff in. So then what you want to do is when your lead's semi-cool, just it's gonna be hot. Just move around the core pin, because if you let it sit, the lead will harden in there, and then you won't get the core pin out, and you'll just have to remelt the chunk, and it just takes extra time. So now what I like to do, just because I make different sizes of them, and it's really not necessary, but I do it anyway, I took a little piece of wire. This is actually that welding rod I was telling you about, and I just made a little 2. So what I'll do is just put that in there. That, like I said, doesn't need to be perfect. Put it anywhere. Take a little bolt, and then I just kind of give it a few little taps. I get it off of there, and then I just have a little 2 pattern in there. So now what we do is we just shimmy it out. And then get my hand on some pliers. And then we're just going to remove that core pin. The lead dries fairly quickly, but it stays hot for a while, so just be careful. And then I always just pull it to the light and make sure that it's got a good hole right through the middle of it. No burrs, no nothing. And then from there we just let it dry. So there you have it. That's how I make no-roll sinkers. That's a 2-ounce. I have one that's shaped a little different, more of like just an egg that I routed deeper. It ends up being a 3-ounce sinker. Just the water that I fish, I never really need more than 3 ounces, so that's the difference. That's going to be one of the 3 ounces versus the 2. There's another one of the 3, and then you know, there's the 2 right next to each other. But yeah, folks, I mean, it's really just that simple. I looked into the lead melting pots and they were like 70 bucks a piece, and then the molds were I think 50. So that comes out to over 100 bucks. I mean, even if you went and bought the wood, you're gonna spend a few bucks on a 2x4. And I went to Harbor Freight right here, and I got this router for $25. And then lead, like I said, if you want to use old sinkers, if you got like old scuba diver weights or wheel weights, anything you want to use. And the no-rolls, I'm a real believer in them, in the way that they fish in the current. And it's just because we can't find them anywhere. So this works out a little bit better for us. So hopefully this helps someone out there find themselves in a position like we are. And yeah.